Good evening to everybody and welcome to edition 153 of the Global Weather Report, live here from Vogan Weather HQ on this Saturday, the 16th of August. The time has just gone 7 p.m. And how is everybody this evening? How's your weekend going? Are you making the most of what is left of the summer season? Obviously, we can get summer-like weather as we progress into the month of September. But from a meteorological standpoint anyway, summer has 2 weeks left to go, which is pretty remarkable stuff. How quickly has this year went so far really is quite remarkable. But just trying to pull up the live chat on my phone and then we will crack on and see what is happening, what is everybody saying, what is everybody up to, what have you been up to today? I've had a pretty busy day, I must admit. Picked up the car in Inverness after getting its service done, its annual service. Then done a little bit of relaxing, had some lunch outside. Then I cut the grass, did a little bit of weeding, did some hoovering, had a shower. So it has been a fairly interesting and kept going sort of Saturday on this end. I don't know why I can't pull up the live chat, so let's see if I can very quickly pull up the live on the actual laptop and see who is saying what this evening. So just bear with a second, and I'm gonna just pause this. I do apologise. So, good evening to the Training Nature Show. Good evening, Mark and everybody. Hurricane ERIN certainly going through a very rapid intensification. It certainly has. It's up there with one of the fastest intensifications on record, going from Cat 1 to Cat 5 within the space of 24 hours. Good evening to Braemar, Ballard, D-side and Donside Weather. Hello to yourself, Chris. And is there anybody else tuning in? Let's quickly hit the refresh button and let's see here. Sorry about that. So, good evening to Hazel Kitching. Good to see you on this evening. Hello, Mark. It's nice to see you again. I hope you and the family are well. I have hit the like button for you, my friend. Thank you, Hazel. Thank you very much, Hazel. And yes, if you haven't already done so, please hit that like button. But also, more importantly, hit that subscribe button as well. Lots coming up this week. We are going to be talking about, it's going to be probably next weekend, but we are going to be talking about the tropics. Going to be looking at a recap of summer 2025, so the forecast versus what actually took place. It's been a warm and dry summer for many, probably one of, if not the warmest summer for the UK on record. And we're going to also be talking about winter as well. So lots of reason to hit that subscribe button. It would be much appreciated if you could. And yes, a couple of little announcements to make. I want to wish my gran, Violet Vogan, a happy 92nd birthday today. So it's her birthday today. It was Lindsay's back last weekend. It's my gran's this weekend. So happy birthday to gran. And also, I want to say that there is going to be no live stream, not this weekend, but also next weekend, the following weekend. So 2 weekends in a row. I'll make it a little bit more simple than that. In the next couple of weeks, we're not going to have a live stream. I'm going to be away both next weekend and the following weekend, unfortunately. I can't say for certain yet, but I may try and do a weekday live stream prior to going away next weekend. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. But there will most definitely be content pretty much 7 days a week still. So despite the fact that there's not going to be a live for the next couple of weekends on the trot, there should be plenty of content for everybody to still chew over. Talking about winter, talking about the summer recap, talking about the end game to summer as well. And yes, there is certainly plenty of things to talk about and go on about for sure. So yeah, we've got Hurricane ERIN, Category 5 system. Thankfully, it looks as if it's going to miss any major land area. It looks as if it may have a glancing blow to Bermuda, perhaps the eastern United States, but generally speaking, it looks as if that's going to stay offshore. Remember I mentioned, was it last week or the weekend before? Remember I mentioned about the only month to not produce a named storm in the UK. Remember that? It was May, and but I started to doubt myself with regards to the month of July. We did have Storm Everett, which was a named system on the 29th and the 30th of July 2021. So we did have one named system in the month of July. We've had several. In fact, we've had 6 August storms. Obviously, the most recent being Storm Florence, which was a record breaker, particularly across the north of both Ireland and the UK. A tie for the strongest wind gust in August for both Scotland and Northern Ireland. Also the lowest pressure in some places as well. And then a week or so later, we're talking about heat wave conditions, temperatures in excess of 30 Celsius. Hottest day since 2003 for Scotland. So pretty remarkable. Hottest day also for the north of England since 2003 as well for the month of August. So it certainly has been quite an interesting summer overall, that has to be said. Yes, it's been a wee bit up and down, especially across the north, but generally across more southern areas of the UK, it's been hot and dry for the most part. And this summer is very, very likely to be the warmest on record, despite the fact that we may end summer on a slightly cooler note. So I just thought I'd make mention of that. Storm Everett did occur at the end of July 2021, so May being the only month in the calendar that has not produced a named storm, which is rather interesting, I think, anyway. So let me just see if I can see if there's any other, if I can pull up the live chat. In fact, this may work now, hopefully. Yes, it looks as if that is going to work for me, which is good news. So we have, at the moment, 10 concurrent viewers. At the moment, hit that like button. It lets myself and YouTube know that you're enjoying the content here on the channel. So, have I got any other announcements to make? So, I've made mention of the summer recap, winter update coming up next weekend. No stream for the next couple of weekends. So, yes, I think we're in business here with regards to all the admin for today. So, looks as if the live chat is a little bit on the quiet side. We've got only 12 concurrent viewers at the moment, which is absolutely fine. It is a slightly quiet time of the year on these live streams, so that is, I suppose maybe the timing is good for a couple of weekends break for myself, taking a little short break over to the continent. So I'm looking forward to that with my good lady Lindsay, who happens to be working this evening. But the good news is I have not been sitting on my backside all day. I have been productive and getting things done around the house, as well as getting that car back from its service, which is always a good thing. Let me just take some of my Ribena with a little kick. What an absolutely fantastic day it's been. Don't know what it's been like for you. Let's have a quick look and have a check of the current visible satellite imagery. So this is actually the radar. So generally high and dry, with the exceptions of perhaps a little shower over Lancashire. Got a little bit of rain here. A frontal system that is edging in to southern areas of Ireland. But generally speaking, it's high and dry. We've got a nice circulation here. We've got some nice spiral bands around an area of low pressure over southern Finland. We've got some storms over the Alps into parts of the southeast of Europe, as can be seen here. But let's have a quick look and see what the visible satellite imagery is showing this evening. Look at that beautiful curl of low pressure up over the south of Finland. And that is dragging in something a little bit fresher. If we have a look at, and you can see the UK here, generally high and dry. There's those thunderstorms over the Alps into parts of the south of Italy. Sardinia, Corsica, a little bit over the interior of Iberia, over the mountainous regions, the Atlas Mountains, for example, of Morocco. We've also got the southerly flow that is bringing some smoky air across anywhere from Iberia all the way up into the south of Ireland and the UK. So pretty interesting sunrises and sunsets over the next few days, thanks to the very smoky conditions that are being drawn northwards from Iberia. You can see some mid to high level clouds over the Midlands, over the south of England this afternoon, and you can see that kind of milky complexion associated with the wildfire smoke, high and dry across the bulk of northern England, Scotland, much of Northern Ireland as well, but we've got some filtered sunshine across the Republic of Ireland at this moment in time. Let's have a quick look at the current temperatures across the British Isles then, and we are starting to see temperatures coming down after returning back into the low 20s this afternoon. We could see mid-20s over the next couple of days across parts of the Central Belt, Central Highland, for example, as well. Temperatures even around the Glasgow area at the time of recording, which is 13 minutes past 7. We're talking about 23 Celsius, so a beautiful evening, late summer evening across central Scotland. We've got the temperatures into the low to mid 20s across the bulk of Ireland. You can see the same here. Some fresher across eastern portions of England here, thanks to an onshore breeze trimming back the temperatures along the eastern side of the both Scotland and England. Remember, temperatures have exceeded heatwave thresholds widely across the UK over the past work week. Here at Vogan Weather HQ, the first heatwave since 2023, September 23 to be exact. So this is my third heat wave that I recorded here since the station became operational back at the beginning of January 2023. Very, very brief period of record, it must be said, but nevertheless, I did reach heatwave threshold this past week, 3 days in a row above 26 Celsius, which is not too shabby at all. So let me see here. The train and nature show saying we'll be interested to see if we get much of an impact from the remnants of ERIN. Yes, that will be an interesting one to keep track of. So stay tuned, and we will discuss that in a little bit more detail in the coming days. So let me see here. Very warm in Braemar, says Chris. 19.2, currently maximum of 21.4. Big difference to yesterday's max of 32, says the Train and Nature Show. Yeah, that is certainly a big drop for sure. 32 down to only 21 Celsius. I'm sure that is welcome relief for you. So Hazel saying, do you think we will get a cold, snowy winter in the UK this year? If we don't, mind me asking. Thank you, Hazel. It's still very early to say, Hazel. There is a couple of interesting factors to consider. The possibility of a return to La Nina. We've got an easterly QBO, and the combination of La Nina and east QBO tends to lead to a weaker polar vortex. And also another interesting factor is the Indian Ocean dipole looks to be going negative, which also can enhance blocking and a weaker polar vortex during the winter season. But more on that, Hazel. Stay tuned for the winter ideas coming up on that one. So I certainly will be looking at that in a little bit more detail coming up, in the coming week or so. So, concurrent viewers, we've got 15 at the moment. Be sure to hit that like button. It would be much appreciated. Have we got the temperatures for today? No, this is yesterday's high temperatures. And I think we did scrape another 30 Celsius down across the south of the UK yesterday. Temperatures trimmed back considerably across the far north, only 15 to 18 Celsius in the northwest yesterday, 23 through the Central Belt, 25 down across southwestern Ireland, and upper 20s to around 30 across the Midlands and south central portions of England. A little bit less warm across the near continent. We obviously have seen all-time records fall across southwestern France. Bordeaux, for example, recording 41 point something Celsius back a couple of days ago, and it really has been a remarkable hot spell yet again. Remember, the summer forecast said that the potential was there for a heat wave in the month of June, July, and August this summer. that appears to have been the case. And I think the overall summer forecast has played out really pretty good, I have to say. This is the third good summer forecast in a row, which is pretty unusual, actually, to get this level of high accuracy with regards to summer. I said it would be a cooler, wetter summer last year. Thought it would be warmer, drier this year. I've given my reasons why I think that would be the case. And that appears to have played out very nicely indeed. Again, temperatures knocking the door of mid-40s across the south of Iberia yesterday, low 40s across the southwest of France, mid to high 20s, low to mid-30s even across parts of central, eastern, southeastern portions of Europe. Very, very hot temperatures indeed. Current temperatures, obviously we're well into the evening across the east of Europe, but temperatures are still responding, still in the low 30s across the Balkan region, anywhere from Turkey, Greece, up into the Balkan region, Bulgaria, Romania, up into Moldova, Ukraine. A little bit of a slice of cooler. Remember, we've got that area of low pressure across northern Europe. That's dragging in something a little bit fresher into Germany, for example. And we have got high pressure to the north and bringing some northeasterly flow across eastern areas of the UK. Good evening to Lisa Pattenden. I hope you're having a good weekend, Lisa. And look at the temperature difference across Norway, Sweden and Finland. Some outstanding warmth, 20 plus days in excess of 30 Celsius across parts of Finland during the past couple of weeks. 2 or 3 weeks has been exceptionally hot across Scandinavia, but this is going to be welcome relief for folks up here in the north of Europe. And we could be seeing a taste of early autumn over towards the latter half of this work week. More on that coming up hopefully shortly. Let's have a look at the latest lighting globally then, and we'll check that out. We've got 17 concurrent viewers at the moment here. Thank you if you're just tuning in. We've got actually 20 concurrent viewers. So a warm welcome if you're just tuning in. Good evening to Lisa, and good evening to Adam Blunston. Hope you're well, Adam. This is the latest lighting activity from a global point of view. You can see here lots of lightning through the Caribbean, Gulf, and across the south and east and northern tier of the United States. We've got some lightning showing up here over southern portions of Ireland, associated with an area of low pressure. A couple of lightning detections over Iberia, into the Alpine region, into the Balkans, into southern portions of Italy as well. Big time thunderstorms by Scottish standards. We've seen some remarkable hailstones during the past few days, across parts of Aberdeenshire. Our very own Chris at Braemar, Ballard, Deeside and Donside Weller shared a couple of interesting photographs of the hailstones that was seen in the Tarland region. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure Tarland is in Aberdeenshire, but pretty incredible stuff actually, by UK standards, but even more so by Scottish standards, seeing some of these hailstones in recent days. Look at this here. This is from the Braemar, Ballard, Deeside and Donside Weather page on Facebook. So check this out. Be sure to hit that like button on Chris's page. Also follow Highland Weather as well. These chaps have got a fantastic Facebook page with a big audience. So give them a follow and show some love to them. So let me just see here. I've noticed here I've got a little donation. Let me just see who that is from. It is from our very own Braemar, Ballard, Deeside and Donside Weather. Thank you very much, Chris, for your kind $4.99 donation. That is very, very generous of you, my friend. You're always so kind, and I just want to show you my appreciation. Thank you very much. Also, good evening to Fed Up Brit. Hi from Mid Wales. Good evening to yourself. What is your weather like down in Mid Wales at the moment here? Yes, Tarland is in Aberdeenshire. Thank you very much, Chris, for keeping me right. But yes, 4 centimetre hailstones was recorded back, I believe it was the 14th of August. These were generated as energy. It was actually remnant energy associated with the remnants of Dexter that drifted north as the temperatures were in the kind of mid 20s, upper 20s, even in kind of 31.6 in the borders, 29.9 at Aviemore. We're only 0.1 Celsius from tying the August record, I believe, in Aboyne. We also seen a big drop in temperature from near 30 down to the mid-teens in Aboyne in the space of about, half an hour due to these big thunderstorms that rode north over Scotland. So some pretty impressive stuff. Fed Up Brit says overcast but warm. And let me see here. Bring on the cooler temps, says Lisa. Lisa, you should be used to the heat. Being, from DC and all that, I would have thought you would have been enjoying this heat, but obviously you're not. I love a bit of thunderstorm action, also says Lisa. So yes, I must admit, we are in a rather thunderstorm-starved region of the world. Even across Arctic portions of Scandinavia, there's been a fair bit of thunderstorm activity in recent weeks due to the heat. But yes, we certainly do miss out in thunderstorm action in this part of the world. So, big hailstones across parts of Scotland in recent days. Let's move on then to the global tropics. This is off the CIMSS. I almost got there. I have to mess it up at some point. 17 years here, says Lisa. Yeah, so you're well accustomed to the kind of lukewarm summers that we get here in particularly Scotland. I was going to say the UK, but folks down across the south kind of used to those upper 20s, low 30s, especially this summer for sure. But yes, we do have a couple of invest areas over the West Pacific, one over the South China Sea, Invest 91W and Invest 90W. We have got the mighty Hurricane ERIN. Let's have a quick look and see what the latest of NHC is saying with regards to this. Then we will look at the other global stuff. So we do have one invest area, or an area of interest, at least 10% chance of the North Carolina coast of development over the next 7 days. But ERIN, 160 mile per hour hurricane, pressure at 915 millibars. We'll look at this in more detail in tomorrow's tropical outlook, by the way, moving in a westerly direction at 16 miles per hour. Latest cone of NHC has this system taking a hard north and then northeasterly turn, staying to the west of Bermuda, but then we've got the strongest winds on the eastern side of the hurricane circulation. So I'm sure there will be impacts on Bermuda, albeit nothing particularly severe, thankfully, because the system will stay far enough to the west. But what will be interesting is whether ERIN has impacts directly or indirectly on our weather pattern here in western areas of Europe. Let's have a quick look at the visible satellite imagery then and see what it's looking like at this moment in time. So this is of Tropical Tidbits. Just bear with a second here. And boy, oh boy, it's incredible what a little 2 or 3 difference in terms of temperature, a lack of dry air, and a lack of wind shear does to a tropical system. This system came off Africa, took several days fighting dry air, wind shear, water temperature slightly below that crucial 27 Celsius or above threshold to not only support tropical cyclones but also enhance their strength. But it gets into a warmer water, warmer, more humid environment within the atmosphere, and lack of shear, and bang, you've got a system that goes from Cat 1 to Category 5 within a 24-hour period with an incredible drop in pressure. Like I say, the good news is this system is going to generally stay offshore. There is going to be coastal impacts to the northern portions of the leewards, parts of the north side of the Caribbean islands, for example, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola. Also, perhaps anywhere from Florida up the eastern side of the United States, we're going to see wave action, we're going to see rip currents, etc., but nothing too significant, and that is good news. And also there is good news towards the end of August. MJO may be becoming less conducive over the Atlantic basin. That may try to temper any activity. We're coming up for the 20-year anniversary of Katrina, which is hard to believe, at the end of this month as well. Lisa's saying we had a very cool one a couple of years ago. Massive shelf cloud over Dingers, as in Dingwall for everybody else, by the way. Dingwall is just to the north of Inverness. Ling, good evening to yourself. Dublin, still no thunderstorm. Good evening, and hope you're having a good weekend so far, Yilin. So, yes, that is Hurricane ERIN. Looking at it from a broader standpoint, let's have a look at the Atlantic overall. So let's look at the Atlantic wide view. And sometimes it's actually nice just to pan back and just see the beauty of this system from afar. We've got obviously some convection coming off Africa. We've got a more robust West African monsoon at the moment here. Big thunderstorms. I'm going to show you some photographs from, from 40,000 feet up from the flight deck of a British Airways flight in just a second as well. But it's these big thunderstorms that are blowing up over equatorial Africa, riding the easterly African jet, then progresses out over the waters of the Atlantic basin, and bang, you've got the development of tropical cyclone activity. Good news is that the far eastern portion of the equatorial Atlantic remains subpar in terms of warmth. But the problem is, albeit we've got drier, we've got shear, once these systems enter a region that ERIN is in at the moment, and you can get the explosive development, as has been the case with this particular system. So that is that. Let me just have a look and show you the temperature anomalies over the last 7-day period globally, but then we'll look at Europe as well. It's been a very, very warm past work week for many areas of Western Europe. All-time records being achieved in parts of France, possibly the north of Spain, as high as 45, 46 Celsius. And we've had a couple of individual stations across the UK recorded their warmest August day on record as well. But you can see from a global point of view over the last 7 days, it has been quite a mixed bag of below versus warmer than average. Much of the United States has been warmer than average. Central Canada, cold than average, with the exception of the northwest and the east. Northeastern United States, the Great Lakes into the Midwest here, generally warmer than average. A good chunk of South America has actually been below average over the last 7 days. Eastern Brazil, warmer than average, but South Brazil into Uruguay, Paraguay, and northern Argentina, it's been quite cool. Northern portions of Australia has been below average, but the rest of Australia above average. A good mixture across the African continent. Across northern portions of Russia, it's been below average actually across Kazakhstan, Mongolia, southwestern portions of Russia and east, but firmly warmer than average Scandinavia and across the top of Russia here in particular. But if we look at Europe, this is the last 7 days. And you can see here the bullseye of warmth stands out, Northern Iberia, France, but look at the UK and Ireland. And when you look at this, granted it's been actually below average across Western Russia and much of Ukraine. But if you look at the monthlies then, you can see here, this is the turnaround. Remember the first 10 days or so of August, it was actually quite below average. We obviously had Storm Florence. We did have cooler than average temperatures, but that is now turning around. The question mark is going to be this kind of end of August cool shot that may bring this August warm anomaly down quite a bit. It's going to be interesting to see how much cooler we can get in. Remember, we've got very warm waters surrounding the UK and Ireland at the moment here, and that may temper the amount of cooler that comes in. But it's going to be interesting to see actually how cool it gets towards the end game of August, end of meteorological summer. Good evening, Paul James. It's good to see you, my friend. I kind of almost thought you were perhaps working this evening, but thank you for tuning in. Paul says, sorry I'm late, been a bit busy today. Not a problem, Paul. We are all busy getting on with this, that, and the next thing. But it's good to see you anyway, my friend. So, tidal impacts will certainly be felt from ERIN on the East Coast, says the Train and Nature Show. Yet that will certainly be the case. So, that is the temperatures for the month of August so far. Warmer than average for the most part across the UK and Ireland, France, Portugal, Spain, Low Countries, and Germany as well. Big time fires at the moment in several places. This is the global temperature anomaly across the planet. And we've got this kind of mixture of warm versus cold. There's not much point in going into individual countries and tell you the various anomalies. But this is the past 7 days in terms of precipitation anomaly. It's actually been quite largely drier than average across the United States. A mixture over Canada, generally a mixture across South America. Very close to average across Australia. If you notice here, wetter than average across Indonesia, which is interesting. Southern India, wetter than average. Mixture across Southeast Asia, and a mixture across Equatorial Africa. Excuse me. Look at Europe here. It's been a very dry past 7 days compared to average across the continent, including the UK and Ireland, which is quite interesting actually. Let's have a quick look then and see what precipitation we can expect over the next 7 days. Now, high pressure looks as if it's going to be dominating the majority of this work week coming up. But let's have a look at the GFS firstly and show the accumulated precipitation over the next week here. And not a whole lot. Yeah, we've got some over Southern Ireland, southern portions of the British Isles. Largely dry. This is all the way out to Wednesday next week, by the way, and very little, if any, rain across the bulk of the UK. Continue to play through. We've got some wet weather across central portions of Europe. And you can see here, not a whole lot to speak about all the way out to Wednesday, the 27th of August. Could this be one of the driest Augusts on record? Perhaps. I don't know how this month compares to history, for example, but it certainly has been a very dry period. This is kind of concerning as we go into the month of September as well. More on September's ideas also coming up this week as well. So that's precipitation. Let's have a look at temperatures of the models here then. Let's move on to the ensemble. This is off tropicaltidbits.com, of course. Let's have a look at the temperature anomalies over the next 7 days. So there's the high pressure at the moment here, particularly centered just to the northwest of the British Isles here. Let's have a look at the temperature anomalies over the next 5 days. And you can see here the eastern side of the UK is cooler than average. And the reasons for that is high pressure in the north. Winds coming around clockwise means we've got this flow coming in from the south, the northeast. So flow coming over the cool, relatively cool waters of the North Sea means we're going to see a trim back in the temperatures right up and down the length of the east coast. Warmer the further west you go. The day 6 through 10 looks like this here, and you've got this cooling trend across most of Europe, which is interesting, including the UK as well as Ireland. And north to northeasterly winds means we're going to see the temperatures. It's going to be interesting to see actually how cool days get towards the middle and latter half of next week here, because it has been pretty warm, and then you can see a recovery day 11 through 15 off the model, which takes out to the very final day of August and meteorological summer. And what's going to be interesting is the comparison between this, which is obviously the anomaly so far, versus the second half of August. Could we actually end up being below average for the month of August across parts of the UK? That would be quite interesting, wouldn't it, given what we have seen? So that is that. So La Nina, looks as if there's a possibility of La Nina coming back into play once again. That could be significant with regards to the latter half of this hurricane season. Remember, climatologically speaking, mid-September, I think it's the 10th of September, is the peak of hurricane season, but we can see some big storms well into the month of October. That's one aspect of La Nina coming back, which could be important, but also here for our part of the world as we move towards the back half of autumn into the winter time. If we have a La Nina, East QBO, and also a negative Indian Ocean dipole, we could actually see a taste of colder than average into the first half of winter here. So watch this space. More on that coming up in the next week or so here. Good evening to Mick J. Good evening to yourself. It is good to see you tuning in. And yes, has everybody had their dinner yet? I'm still having my dinner. It has to be said. What time is it now? 37 minutes past 7. So yeah, sorry YouTube kicked out. Hazel been very busy today. Says as a conversation between Paul and Hazel. So let's move on then. What has been taking place from across the world? Mentioned about these big thunderstorms over Africa. This is not the clearest picture in terms of the size of the image, but this is from Captain Dave Walsworth. He's a captain that flies the Airbus A350 for British Airways. He was flying down from Heathrow down to Cape Town in South Africa a couple of days ago and captured this plane. Now, can you see it? I don't know if it's very clear, but this is obviously a cumulonimbus cloud here. But he goes on to say that that's 5 miles from where he was. So this is a photograph captured from the cockpit that Captain Dave took. And you can see this tiny little plane, and it shows you the size of the altitude at which this cumulonimbus cloud has built up. This is in equatorial Africa, by the way. So Dave says in a message privately to me, I'd asked him whereabouts was this photograph taken. I thought it would be equatorial Africa, somewhere where you've got these big thunderstorms that blow up every day. But an amazing photograph. He says that this cloud top was 55,000 feet. So obviously within the tropics, you've got cloud tops that exceed 50,000+ feet. You've got very strong convection, all that very, very hot, humid environment within the low levels of the atmosphere, and you've got all this lift within the atmosphere, produces some of these big sails. So an incredible image showing these massive cumulonimbus towers that develop over equatorial Africa. So I wanted to share that with you, this photograph from Dave, who is a captain for British Airways, an amazing image. And this is the location, basically. So it's just kind of on the north side of where you've got all these waves coming off Africa that become eventually tropical storms and hurricanes. So ERIN actually developed over Africa as a tropical wave, then moved out over the Atlantic, and then with obviously, conflicting environment with dry air and cool and average water temperatures, it took till the system got to the north of the Caribbean to really blow up. But it's incredible how the seeds that become Category 5 hurricanes develop over Africa, and obviously it creates an issue for aviation system. Flights that move from across the equatorial regions of Africa have to deal with this on a daily basis, these big 55,000 foot thunderheads that develop. So amazing stuff. Wanted to show you that. I know it's not the best picture because it's quite small, but anyway. So what's been taking place from an extreme weather point of view globally? Dangerous thunderstorms that have developed over parts of Pakistan. Obviously, this is the height of the monsoon season in the subcontinent, India, Pakistan, and the Southeast Asia as well. But check out this footage coming out. 32 people killed, unfortunately, across the country since yesterday evening. So this is a tweet here by Weather Monitor, and this was from back yesterday. 32 people killed due to flash flood in parts of Pakistan. Check this out. Paul says nature can be very beautiful. Yeah, absolutely, Paul. And unfortunately, it can be very deadly as well, as we can see in this imagery. So again, more flood images. Have you subscribed to Mark Vogan Weather here on YouTube yet? If you haven't, remember there's content 7 days a week. Going to be talking about autumn, the end game of the summer, winter coming up as well, believe it or not. Building the ideas already for the winter season coming up. It's been a very good summer forecast, and it has been a very possibly the best summer forecast that I've made so far, and I've been doing summer forecasts for the past 15 years consecutively, and winter season is going to be the next big forecast coming up, and over the next few months we're going to be building the ideas, going to be producing winter updates, and that will be getting discussed in quite some detail coming up. This was, by the way, powerful wind gusts in North Scottsdale, Arizona, which was back on the night of the 15th. Good evening to Sink Splint. It is good to see you on this evening's stream. I hope you are well and enjoying your weekend so far. By the way, let me just quickly check something out here before I crack on even further. I wanted to show you this here by Paul Blight. So I don't actually know exactly where Paul works, but I noticed there's an image behind him in his main picture of the ECMWF. So I don't know, 35-year interest in satellite, tropical, synoptic, convective meteorology, writer of weather discussions and nowcast updates. Don't know if he works for the ECMWF or not, but some very fascinating tweets showing up here. Now, this one's an interesting one with regards to, Hurricane ERIN and the influence it could have on the high pressure to the east of the system itself. It can actually enhance high pressure, these tropical systems. That is often the case. Actually, downstream, where you've got the air and all that energy lifting up through the atmosphere, bounces off the troposphere, tropopause, which is the ceiling, the separation point in the atmosphere between troposphere, which is where our weather resides, and the stratosphere above. All that energy bounces off the tropopause, fans out, and then all that air has to descend, and it descends within high pressure areas out with the actual circulation of these systems. What happens is all this energy, this latent heat release, influences weather downstream, and he's basically talking about the outflow from this system, according to the DWD icon, also showing the same idea with a very intense ERIN, which moves north at a more westerly longitude due to the outflow, which helps maintain the atmospheric ridge to the northeast a little longer here. Essentially what he's getting at here is the influence it has on the downstream weather pattern of ERIN with regards to what type of weather we can expect here in the UK. But I wanted to show you this here, a tweet from a few days ago with regards to those storms over eastern Scotland. It wouldn't be a live stream, it wouldn't be a Mark Vogan weather video if it wasn't for me jumping back and forward between different subjects. So I do apologise for that, but I try to always remember to share all the important things that I wanted to show. But pretty intense heavy radar returns from back. This was on the 14th, so obviously the big thunderstorms have produced 4 centimetre hailstones in parts of Aberdeenshire. We also seen big time rainfall associated with that. I would love to know actually the height of some of these thunderstorms over eastern Scotland. What elevation in the atmosphere did they get to produce such a large hail? Remember, hailstones become bigger and bigger as they ascend and then descend with the updrafts, the downdrafts associated with these thunderstorms, and obviously hailstones that drop down through the column. You've also got moisture, hail, dust that's getting driven up through the atmosphere, and when you've got downward ascending hailstones and upward ascending hailstones, that they bounce off one another, and that creates the electrical charge that produces the thunder and lightning within the thunderstorm itself. But the hail, the stronger the hail, or the bigger the hail, should I say, is usually a reflection of how strong the updrafts and the downdrafts are within the thunderstorm itself. Probably a long-winded and not so great explanation as to why hailstones become so big within powerful thunderstorms. But yes, 40 millimetre per hour rainfall was also associated with this thunderstorm over Aberdeenshire at Old Mill of Newton. And I think there was some unofficial stations. Chris may be able to enlighten me with this more. I think it was some official stations that recorded 50 millimeters of rain within an hour or two within that thunderstorm complex over Grampian back a few days ago. So I just wanted to share that with you. I looked him up. Mark Paul Blight is in finance, so not ECMWF, but he's in finance. So thank you very much, Lisa, for keeping me right. That is the beauty of live streams. I can get the updates in real time. So thank you for that, Lisa. Let me just see here if there's anything else I can show. No, that was it, I think. Big thunderstorms. This was the day before the big storms over Aberdeenshire. Obviously the incredible heat that was building over France. It gave way to explosive atmospheric thunderstorms, cloud tops of minus 58, minus 59 Celsius, and also topping 40,000 feet above the French landscape. So I had a station record 47 millimeters. I believe that's per hour, Chris, if that's right, if I'm right in saying that here. So 47 millimeters of rain in 1 hour, I think, if I'm right in saying, with that thunderstorm over Aberdeenshire. So pretty impressive stuff for sure. Let me see here. So I've showed you the images with regards to the thunderstorms over Equatorial Africa. I've showed you the Paul Blight tweets as well. So let me see here what else I can show. Again, big time thunderstorms, not only Pakistan, but in neighbouring India. I prefer here the thunder actually in the background, which is pretty cool to hear with those Indian thunderstorms. This was in China. This was the Pearl River Delta in Guangdong, China. 250 millimeters of rainfall within a 3-hour period. It always amazes me the rainfall rates in China. This was in Fushan.
Yeah.
29 concurrent viewers at the moment here. Before you leave the live chat today, please hit that like button and also subscribe to this channel as well. Major fires, not just in Europe, but also in Syria. Check this out, huge forest fire. This was back in the 14th in Kesab in Syria. By the way, it looks as if the first hurricane of this season obviously generated a Category 5 intensity. I'm pretty sure last year's first hurricane of the season became Category 5 as well, and it was the easternmost Cat 5 for so early in the season in 2024. I'm pretty sure the first hurricane of the 2024 Atlantic season became Cat 5 as well as this season, which I thought was quite interesting. If you think the hail was big in Scotland over recent days, check this out here. This was in, 5 centimetres, only a centimetre more than what was achieved in Tarland, Aberdeenshire. But check out those stones. And this was back in the same day as the one in Scotland, back over in Italy. Big time cloudbursts in Pakistan, as already shown. Very devastating floods here. This is in Fujian in China. Let me see here if there's anything else that I can show. This was in Kashmir. This was flash flooding in Bluff City, Tennessee, United States. I believe there was record rainfall in Wisconsin actually back during the course of the week just gone as well. And Typhoon Podal passed through. This hit China's southern coast, experiencing flooding today. That was back a few days ago. Wow. I'm actually only noticing this now, by the way. This was inside a plane. Typhoon Podal last night. A 10-second passenger video showed lightning and turbulence as the plane flew through over the storm. The flight landed safely. Luckily, it was a Boeing 777. Hard to imagine flying through this strong convection zone in a smaller A320 or A737. Check this out. So you can see the shaking around, you can see the incredible frequency of the lightning outside. That was Storm Typhoon Podol, and this was over Taiwan. Big flooding in parts of Panama. Major fires. This is in Chios in North Aegean in Greece. We've obviously seen some very devastating fires in parts of Spain. Spain, Portugal, Greece, Turkey, Syria. We've been seeing some really, really nasty fires in recent days. This is an interesting one here. Dominican Republic, La Romana, of a water spout here just off the coast. Again, Typhoon Podol made a second landfall in China. Low-end Cat 1 or high-end tropical storm. Despite being pummeled by Taiwan's mountains, the storm's core and heavy rain thunderstorms have remained intact. This was from Back Perch Weather. It always provides some very interesting tropical information. Big time flooding in parts of South Korea. Lisa says, shows 23 likes on the refresh. If you haven't already hit that like button, please do. Thank you very much, Lisa. And yes, I would greatly appreciate the likes on the video. This was again scenes in Greece of the wildfires. Never a good sign, I have to say. Check this out here as well, by the way. This was of Storm Yagi Podol hitting a part of Taiwan with winds reaching 191 kilometers per hour, prompting 5,500 plus evacuations, closure of 9 cities and counties, and cancellation of 252 domestic flights, 129 international flights. Up to 600 millimeters of rainfall is expected, landslides and flood risks. Check out the scaffold, and I think this is coming off this building in Taiwan due to that typhoon. We've got 30 concurrent viewers at the moment here. If you're just tuning in, a very warm welcome. And if you've already been on, thanks for sticking on with me here and listening to me going on. My face wouldn't be glued to that window during that. I do apologise. I would attempt your name, but I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. So I do apologise, but thank you anyway for your comment. And please do not take offence by not me attempting to butcher your name. Right, let me just see here what else I can show real quick here. Let's move on to Terry Goose's Twitter handle, and then we will round things off. We are closing in on an hour. Gilly Poof is tuning in. Good evening to yourself. That is a cracking name, I have to say. But thank you for your comment anyway. So like I say, remarkable heat. Temperatures as high as 45, 46 Celsius in parts of Iberia. August records have been blown away. All-time records have been blown away across many parts of France, including the southwest city of Bordeaux, breaking a record set back in 2019. It was over in excess of 41 Celsius was achieved in Bordeaux. So we've seen all-time records in parts of the Middle East as well. So northwestern Spain, all-time record tied for Cantabria, I think that is Cantabria, of 43.5, 42.9 in a couple of spots as well. So northwestern portions of Spain you would normally associate with the really intense heat down in the south and central regions of Spain, but not necessarily the case all the time. Interesting one here, northern British Columbia recorded 0.0 at Prince George. This is the earliest 0 Celsius since 1968, which is quite interesting according to Thierry. So a little chilly couple of mornings in northern British Columbia and Canada. Israel 50.3 Celsius only 1.1 from the all-time record for Israel. So intense heat here. We did see temperatures in the low 50s across parts of the Middle East in recent days as well. We've seen some all-time records actually achieved in parts of eastern Canada over the past week. This was back on the 13th from Patrick. Another all-time record set in eastern Canada in Quebec, 30.3 Celsius, 36.1 or 36.3 preliminary at Goose Bay in eastern Canada. A new August Labrador record, unofficial 37.7 in Labrador. So some very hot temperatures across eastern Canada as well as the west of Europe here. A positive North Atlantic oscillation attributes to ridging and heatwave conditions at this time of the year, eastern North America and western portions of Europe. We're going to flip that around over the next week or so here. Let's have a quick look then, and we'll end with this here, but let's have a look at the NAO. And it's going from firmly positive to very deeply negative. Check this out here. So that means we're going to see high pressure building up towards Iceland, Greenland. We're already kind of seeing that taking place. But the strong positive NAO, heat wave over eastern Canada, western portions of Europe here. With this deep negative here, it'd be interesting to see. I've already discussed the fact that we're going to see troughiness and cooler temperatures over Western Europe. I think we're going to see the same over western portions or eastern portions of North America as well. Let's have a quick look then at the 850s of the. Let's have a look at the ECMWF. To look at the bigger picture. See here the high pressure there. Look, so you can see the high to the northeasterly flow around this area of high pressure, areas of low pressure moving in from the east. We've got a kind of warmish start of the week coming up, and then it dramatically turns cooler as we progress towards the middle and second half of next week. So there's the high to the north to northeasterly flow. If we put on the 850s here, you can see that we've got we're tugging on something much cooler coming in from the north here. So you've got the warmth here over the next few days. Look at the cold air to the north over Scandinavia, and that is going to be drifting its way down over the UK. Notice here there's a fight, warmer air trying to move in from the southwest, colder air trying to move in from the northeast. That's going to be the test this upcoming week. So that is it, I think. I've spoken long enough. That's pretty much an hour-long video this evening. So as I've already said, no live stream for the next couple of weekends, unfortunately. I may do a live stream one of the weekdays, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But a massive thank you to everybody for taking part, but also viewing today's live stream. It is always much appreciated for you taking in the time out of your weekend to watch these videos. I hope you've enjoyed the content. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Massive thank you to Paul James, Hazel Kitching, Gilly Poof, to Lisa Pattenden. Thank you for the moderating from Lisa, from Paul James, and from Sing Splint. Thank you very much to the name that I cannot pronounce. I really do apologise for that, by the way. Braemar, Ballard and Deeside Weather, thank you very much for your kind donation as well. To Mick J. And I think that's it. So enjoy your Saturday. Do check out the Tropical Outlook. That will be released probably around about 5 p.m. tomorrow evening. Also, thank you to the Train and Nature Show for tuning in as well. Fed Up Brit also. So yes, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you tomorrow with the Tropical Outlook. Bye for now.